no wallet, no ID.
So we've got this Sony projection TV here. As you can see, it's got the standard blue haze, blue spots in the picture. I'll show you a screen of a video pattern. You can see what it looks like, and I'll change some colors. You can look at them real quick. So there's just a black screen. You can see the blue spots in it, quite abundant. In addition, when I bring up just the blue pattern only, you can see the defects in the LCD panel, how it's beginning to crystallize. And of course, with a white screen, you could definitely see the yellow cast to the picture with lack of blue. On this model, obviously start by removing all the screws, which I've already done, and simply remove the back from the set. Next, you'll want to remove the brace. Now, on some models it has screws in it. I've already removed all of them. So you want to remove the ground wires from the brace. This model had 2 screws here, 1, 2, 3 on the top, and 2 screws on the bottom. Lifts up slightly, it comes right out. Now on this model we'll remove the chassis, which is done by simply lifting up a little bit, pulling it straight back. Usually there's enough room you can just swing it out of the way and set it just a couple of inches away. Next you'll want to remove the 3 screws for the fan. It can be just pulled straight out, and there's one cable that has to be unplugged. Next we've got the light engine mounting screws. They're in these long hollow tubes. Kind of hard to get to. Some models have 2, some models have 3. You need a long screwdriver to get up in there. They're about 6 to 7 inches into the engine. You don't have to worry about losing them. They're retained so they won't fall out. Next, disconnect all the cables, the lamp cooling fan, temperature sensor, door switch. You can remove the cables from the keyboard over here just to get it out of the way. That way you're not messing with this one big cable. This model has 2 LVDS cables, low voltage differential signals, what that stands for, LVDS. 2 power connectors to the formatter board. 1 connector over here for the lamp fan, or the LCD fan. Ballast power. Once that's done, you can swing the thing out of the way. So we can get the wire untangled. There we go. There we go. And then the engine pulls straight out of the back of the TV. Just like that. Next we'll talk about engine disassembly. You can remove the 2 screws over the dust plate. Four screws that cover the little plastic air cover that keeps dust out of the projection area. Next, very carefully lift up the corners and unplug all 3 LCD ribbon cables from the LCD formatter board. Remove 1, 2, there's 3 screws on the formatter board. It can be set aside. You'll need to remove the lamp fan. It's got 4 screws. Once you get the lamp fan off the bottom, you can look into it. I don't know if it'll focus on it, but you can see how much dust is built up in the blades here. That can severely limit the life of the lamp. So with some compressed air, blow the dust out of the little blades. Next, remove all the screws on the top mounting plate. Five screws there. It can be set aside as well. And now 2 screws on the LCD optic assembly itself. These are short little screws. They're not long like the other ones, so keep those separate. The LCD assembly can be lifted right out. And you can see we've got 3 LCD panels. The red one, the green one, and the blue one. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but you can actually see the defect in the blue. Let me refocus the camera. Okay, there it's refocused. I don't know if you can actually see. You can kind of see it there, but that's actually what the defect in the screen looked like. So that's where the problem is. It's causing the dots and all the blue in the picture. Is the LCD panel has failed, as well as the polarizer itself has probably got some damage. I'll show you that. It's right here. You need a smaller screwdriver to access the polarizer. Now always make sure you work off only the blue one. Find out which one corresponding polarizer is. It's always the one closest to it. It can be removed with 1 screw. It lifts straight out. The blue polarizer is always orange. So here's a real neat way you can test your polarizer to see what condition it's in. Just go to a white screen. I just use Google as the background. Hold the polarizer up to it. And as you turn the polarizer, you can actually see the shape of the screen in the middle of the polarizer, different color than the rest of the screen. It should turn virtually completely clear, but there, I don't know if I can catch it on the camera or not, but you can certainly see the little defects. And you can reverse it over to the other side and do the exact same thing as you rotate it, because it's an LCD monitor. It's polarized light coming out of it. So now that we've got the optical block out of the set completely and the polarizer out, we can just simply take the blue LCD panel off. This one's on there awfully tight. Be very careful. These 4, I don't know if you can see them on the corner or not, but these 4 pieces are just epoxied into place. Just loosen the 3 screws. I always try to support the bracket itself so you don't do any damage. Once the 3 screws are taken out, the LCD panel is loose, can be completely removed. This is the part you're going to need to replace. You can order a replacement LCD panel from, I believe it's Tri-State Module, sells them along with the polarizing filters. So that's a good place to start looking for a replacement LCD panel. Otherwise, if you have another TV, you can take a red or a green LCD panel out and replace it with that as well. So here's the new LCD panel. It's another red one. It's okay, it'll work in place of the blue. So we're going to put this one on here. We'll talk about aligning it in a second. We don't want to over tighten the screws, just very loosely snug them up so they're just barely tight. So I just barely snugged them up. So let me set this aside. Here's our engine from before. We've got our new polarizer. It's matched to the red LCD panel, so it looks, the color's a little bit different, but it's going to work just fine in its place. And we want to put that in here. We're not going to snug it up yet. We're going to leave it loose because it adjusts. And then we'll put our LCD block back in. We're not even going to put screws in it yet, it's just going to sit there like that. So I've got the formatter board loosely attached, nothing's holding it down, and that way I can adjust the polarizer while the set's on. I've also put the lamp fan, I've just set it over the lamp because it needs to keep the lamp cool while we're doing the work on the TV. Otherwise you'll burn up a lamp within 5 or 10 minutes without a fan on it. So now the set's loosely assembled, ready for alignment. You can see the 3 LCD panels in there, red, green, and blue. Light coming out of the lens. I've got a crosshatch pattern on it. And then we just have to align the LCD panel. So here's the pattern as it's projected on the ceiling. You can see that the blue is now out of alignment. It's a big picture as it's just projected. Here's the set sitting down here running. And you can see how far off the blue is. On the ceiling it's off by a couple of inches. There we go, that looks much better. Once you get the LCD panel aligned, at that point you can take it back out and tighten the screws up a little bit tighter. Then we'll show you the final picture. Oh, and I'll show you how to adjust the polarizer as well. Now to adjust the polarizer, I use a piece of paper and I just set it in front of the lens. Look at the amount of ambient light reflected on the paper. And just move the polarizer right or left. You can see the difference in the color of the light. Once you get it aligned, you want to find the null point. There it is. I just use a black video pattern for this. And here's the same TV once we're all done. You can see there's no blue or yellow haze in the picture at this point. So there is just a black screen. You can see no blue spots on it now. And I'll show you the raster. There's the blue. Remember last time it had a lot of defects in it. It wasn't very even. We have a nice looking TV after we're all done.